apparently this is an old clip of Mamdani. He looks like real Indian, less Muslim here. Kind of funny. I guess it's the poofy hair. There's apparently him admitting that he's fooled white liberals, question mark.
I think that with the interesting thing about our communities here is I think that minority communities, because we have never had representation, we are tied much more to identity. White communities, they've had representation forever. And so for them, their tie is a little less identity and a little more ideology. And so what I mean by that is we have a lot of voters here who think of themselves first as progressive voters. And so we reach out to them speaking about our platform, our progressive platform. And you're very right that you need someone in the middle to be a validator, someone to tell them to trust us, believe in us. We've had that with Tiffany Caban and Cynthia Nixon.
I think it's very funny that he's just like, yeah, you know, these people who aren't going to be voting upon racial lines like we do, we need them as the mediator, right? We need them to tell others to trust us. We need them to tell others to trust us. Not that they're actually trustworthy, just that we need people who are trustworthy to tell them to trust us. Very, very interesting thing to say. You can hear Sam Hyde whispering, no, we don't do that. So is he faking an accent here, or does he fake it now? Great question. I have absolutely no idea why he has a random weird accent here, but yeah. Yeah, nobody normal is surprised that he's lied about anything. Need people to hold open the gates for us. The barbarians. The white liberal woman is the curse of the West. You can fix everything. It just takes someone capable of saying no to the liberal women. Hasan Piker responding to Zohran Mamdani aide Cea Weaver saying she wants to impoverish the white middle class.
Mamdani's aide, his top aide, Cea Weaver, said if you don't believe in the government's sacred right to seize property, it's over. And impoverish the white middle class.
Beast mode. I love her so much. One of the things about Zohran is that the people surrounding him oftentimes are so much cooler than he is. But that's also part of the reason why I really respect what he's doing. She's awesome.
What? That's a goal?
Why? Is that Bill Maher being shocked that that's a goal? Despite that being basically the end point of a lot of these policies? That's crazy. Hasan loving her is enough to run the other way. Never mind what she said. I genuinely will never understand how people are like, yeah, communism's totally care about the working middle class. That's like, that's never been the case, ever, in any point. Even if they claim to be for it, it is just a subversion. I looked at some of the quote retweets on this, and like some people are just like, oh my god, look at like this cringe shit. Like, who would put all this effort into like being a transphobic? It's not transphobic. This is literally like a shonen episode of how I beat these two duplicitous evil people. When someone is evil, you know, you could say anything about them, really. Some people just don't understand the love of the game.
Say, I am a woman!
Should have left me alone, bitch.
No, I won't give you the satisfaction.
Kick him in the dick!
You drove a trans woman to unalive herself! Just wait until Jame serves hears about this!
The facial hair really completes it. The amount of details that was put into this. Dude, AI is getting fucking impressive.
Give up, Tard. You're only making things worse for yourself.
I'd gladly ruin my life to destroy you, not see.
True.
I'm Alexis Kunzet. I'm just a weird fish out of water, but there's no way I'm weirder than a transphobe.
I'm glad you came out of the closet.
You asked for it, not see. Gay beat tweet a touch of cancellin'. Your career's over, not see.
He's not seeing your point of view! Like, this is crazy! How is this AI? Even the AI bint compliments me, what the fuck?
You leave leave me no choice. It's time I show you my ultimate attack. Hidden technique. Massive ratio of 50,000 IoT devices. Now you know just how many transgender refrigerators hate you.
So now it's my turn.
Forbidden technique! Pathetic. Don't come back this time, Bint.
Wait! I want
Him texting the fucking pedophile is such like the icing. Oh my god! I'm the winner! I'm gonna stalking him and become obsessed with him and wear his skin like a coat! I've been making changes in my personal life that I haven't spoken very publicly on, but one thing I do want to be public is that my close friends call me B now. And if any of you want to call me B or just the letter B, that would make me very happy. Heart emoji. But no pressure, I won't be upset if I hear Martin. Well, this doesn't really mean that he's trans, right? This means he could be like, like trans species, right? Maybe he's like a bumblebee. Maybe he's co-opting Sad B's identity. He thinks he's a bee. That's what I choose to believe. It's official, the Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division has quietly ended its 20-year policy of suing states to discharge mentally ill patients from institutions under Olmstead. Per AAG Harmeet Dalon's July 13th directive, the department will not rely upon the Olmstead guidance and its enforcement of Title II of the ADA. The homeless NGO complex is losing its backbone. I didn't even know this was a thing! So they post this letter here. It says, Department of Justice clarification on Department of Justice guidance titled, Statement of the Department of Justice on enforcement of the integration mandate of Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act and Olmstead versus LC. Agency, Civil Rights Division, Department of Justice, Action, Notice, Clarification, Summary. The Department of Justice is issuing this document to clarify that the guidance issued by the department on June 22nd, 2011, and last updated February 28th, 2020, titled Statement of the Department of Justice on Enforcement of the Integration Mandate of Title II of the Americans with Disability Act and Olmstead versus LC, otherwise known as the Olmstead Guidance. And similar guidance documents are not enforceable. In addition, the department plans to revisit the Olmstead guidance in light of the Supreme Court's decision in Loper Bright Enters versus Raimondo 603 U.S. 369 400 in 2024. To assess whether Olmstead guidance is consistent with the single best meaning of the relevant statutory text. The department will not rely upon the Olmstead guidance in its enforcement of Title II of the American with Disabilities Act. For further information, contact a bunch of people. Supplementary information. June 22nd, 2011, Department issued a guidance document titled Statement of the Department of Justice on Enforcement of the Integration Mandate of Title II to the Americans with Disabilities and Olmstead versus LC. The Olmstead guidance states to assist individuals in understanding their rights under Title II of the ADA and its integration mandate. Guidance is consistent with the single best meaning of the ADA, and the department will not rely upon the Olmstead guidance in its enforcement of Title II of the ADA. Now that's kind of crazy. I had absolutely no idea that there was some mandate from the Department of Justice that they would like sue in order to get mentally ill patients removed from institutions. That seems kind of fucking wild that even existed in the first fucking place. Like, what the hell? So my tax money was being spent suing to put more crazy people back on the streets? How was that even a thing? I feel like near every day, the administration is like, all right, we're ending this horrific thing that's been going on for this long. And everyone's like, what? They were doing what for how long? I feel like the criminally insane should not be put in the disabled category. Well, I agree with you, but as we've seen, Bridge especially has recognized, hey, we can kind of convince people to do a lot of things if we kind of usher in disability into our intersectionality index. Check out this fucking, look at his ear piercings. Look at this guy.
Have you noticed a change in sort of demographics, the people who live here and so on?
Not particularly. I don't see it hasn't changed in any great deal, to be honest with you.
So while he's saying he's not seen any changes in demographics where he lives, 2 women in burqas walk past him. And I think the exact time they walk past him is like, if you tried to convince me we're in a simulation, this clip would absolutely be proof of it. Because the first one walks by.
A change in sort of demographics, the people who live here and so on.
Not in.
The first one walks by as soon as he says, not particularly, in response to that question.
Not particularly. I don't see it hasn't changed in any great deal.
And then when he says, yeah, I haven't seen them change in any great deal, another woman in a burqa walks past. Literally scripted, man. You could not have directed the scene better. Maybe this place has been fucked by immigration for a while. That's just so fucking funny. Jokes writing themselves. Yep, ignore your lying eyes. He is a perfect, useful idiot. Look at him go. It's so funny. The DOJ announces 11 of 15 people have been charged in a $1.4 million food stamp fraud ring in Massachusetts are illegal aliens. 11 of 15 people charged are illegal aliens, bro. What are we doing? Many of them were using stolen American identities. This is why all of them have to go back, not just the worst of the worst. And that's true. They all must go. Billions must be deported.
11 of the 15 charged defendants are suspected illegal aliens, some of whom assumed stolen identities to steal these taxpayer-funded benefits and avoid detection.
Wow, I'm so shocked!
Were boxed out of these programs because illegal aliens took their names to then take their money.
That was the Justice Department just moments ago announcing 15 people are being charged with food stamp fraud in Massachusetts. The scams exploited food stamp, housing, and healthcare programs, costing taxpayers more than $1.4 million. 11 illegal immigrants, including some who have been living under stolen identities, are among those charged.
Alarmingly,
I'm glad they've actually been arrested and charged. Hopefully the charges will stick. That seems to be another uphill battle after you even catch the people doing this shit. But here's another clip thing. I don't know who. Warren Smith. I'm not good at names. But he said, woke reporter shuts down my interview when I expose her as a racist. She says it's not possible to be racist towards white people. When I show her that simple logic disproves everything she's saying, she's forced to get up and end the conversation.
You can debate it. You can't be racist against white people. You can be prejudiced against white people. Racism implies a power imbalance.
Where'd you learn that?
It's also not lost on me that whatever conference they're at is called Bridge USA. So it's very, very interesting name you've chosen there.
How it is. That there's no way to arrive to that.
What happened? You say it's just how it is.
That is.
So
I'm
when
sorry.
people say, well, black people have to use separate water fountains, because that's just how it is. I'm sorry.
If that's how you want to take it, that's how you want to take it.
And you don't think you can advance any more on that? But
I really don't want to.
What do you
I wanted
mean?
to get this out quickly because this
What do you mean you don't want to expand more on something you profess to believe? That seems kind of weird.
one of the most important interactions I've ever caught on camera. I was at a student summit speaking to students. A reporter sat down who was covering the event.
when people are talking about DEI, they're specifically talking about trying to achieve specific outcomes.
Yes.
So you said it, I don't think it logically works.
Okay.
I tried to point out to her that DEI inevitably is racist, logically. There's no way around it.
Because I think it's the only example of systemic racism anyone's been able to provide to me.
It's not systemic racism against you.
It's not systemic racism. It's just the government and every corporate institution and every educational institution moving along these guidelines. But it's not racist. It's progressive.
How?
Well, everyone deserves a chance to speak and a chance to kind of be out there. We are only as good as representing everyone in their nation. It's not just white men, it's not just rich people. We need every single voice there.
So be equal.
I wonder how much it would take for one of these, like, useful idiot parrots to realize that they are part of the systemic racism. They are not fighting systemic racism. They are fighting to keep systemic racism entrenched in our institutions. Like, I wonder if it's even possible to get one of them to realize that.
Opportunity, right?
Yes.
Okay, but equity is equal outcome.
Yes.
So it's a different word. That's why we have a different
but
word.
we should be fighting for equality. And
Warren Smith is the teacher who got fired a few years back for teaching his students critical thought. Oh, he's the how is J.K. Rowling a transphobe guy. Okay, I remember. Thank you.
And equity.
Okay.
It's both sides of the coin.
But if equity is, am I misunderstanding equity?
I don't think you are. I think equity is leveling the playing field so then everyone can reach an equal opportunity.
Okay, so let's run through an example. Like, how do we level the playing field? I'm a firefighter, volunteer firefighter, so let's use that as an example. If there's not enough of a specific skin color in the fire department, how do we fix that without being racist?
It's also just reaching out to demographics who don't...
That's advertising.
It's advertising, yes.
But that's not equity.
It's making sure those people that feel comfortable joining a group like firefighters.
So we'll put, because mentally we have this column of advertising. We're trying to put that aside and understand equity though. Because you're advocating for DEI, right?
Yes.
Okay, so can you get into the DEI portion of it beyond advertising?
Just that, like, everyone is equal of a... I don't really understand what you're asking.
So keep in mind, this is someone who has already graduated college. I doubt she has ever been challenged on this ever before.
He's probably right about that, and it is rather shocking that she's just like, this is a good thing and this is how we have to do it, and it's very clearly not racism, but I can't explain what it is.
It's opening up these doors for everyone so we don't have to get to a point where that is an issue.
Can we get specific though? What does it mean opening up the doors without lowering standards?
It's allowing people to understand that everyone is welcome and bridging the gap. Advertising. I agree with you on that aspect. I think that's part of it. It's showing off
so what's the
that
other
you're...
part, though?
What do you mean?
How do you get equal outcome?
By making sure the standards are the same, by making sure everyone feels welcome and is trained the same way. That is not...
Does she not realize that, like, if people are not interested in having this as their profession, and even if they are interested but can't pass the standards, then they shouldn't be hired? Like, their immutable characteristics mean nothing here. Why would you want to try and hire people based on their race? Why would you even say there's not enough people of this race and that's a problem? Wouldn't you just want the most qualified firefighters? So you don't end up with, like, a fire department in California that's just like, your husband got trapped in a burning building? Well, that sounds like a him problem. I'm not going to carry him out.
DEI has nothing to do with standards.
You just said making sure everyone is trained the same way.
Yes.
How is that DEI?
That's just basic hiring.
Right, that's my point, is it's not DEI.
Yeah.
So can you explain to me DEI?
DEI is making sure everyone feels welcome and secure and that you're not...
DEI is just making people feel welcome.
It's making sure everyone has the equal opportunity to apply to something, everyone has the equal opportunity to get hired.
That'd be equality.
That's not DEI.
Correct.
DEI means something very specific.
It does.
Equity means something different than equality. That's why we have different words for both of them.
Okay.
The equal ability to become a firefighter.
Yes.
But that's not equity.
Okay.
Thank you for blessing.
So do you think DEI now, if we look at it through this lens, do you think pushing for equal outcomes might be a flawed process?
I still don't think so.
Equity means equality of outcome. No one can explain to me how you're going to achieve that without being, by definition, racist.
Oh my
The only
God!
response she can offer is to change the very definition of racism.
I'm allergic to DEI. I can't stop sneezing. Open her head, pull the DEI chip. Yeah, this is like an infuriating loop, and you're not gonna get these people to understand, right? These conversations are for the benefit of, like, other people watching and who don't really know this debate around why DEI is dangerous. They just repeat the talking points of, like, well, if you're against DEI, you must be some kind of racist. And it's like, that's not true. Being against DEI should be the normal default position, because that is being against any kind of racial hiring.
I think you can debate the language and you can confuse people with how you debate the language. I just think fighting for everyone to have...
I think that's really ironic that someone fighting on the side of subversive language, that you directly lie to people about what you're doing in order to enact cultural change that other people don't want, i.e. hiding the DEI vegetables from the fussy babies. And then in the same breath, continue to subvert language by asserting that DEI is wanting people to have equal opportunities. It is not. It is demanding equal outcome, which is impossible to create. And should you try to create equal outcomes, you will always disadvantage, disenfranchise, and destroy someone else. You don't think she's doing it on purpose? You honestly think she just drank the Kool-Aid and is too stupid to realize what she's saying? 100%. This is, once again, where you can tell the difference between a malicious liar and someone who's just a useful idiot, right? This is a useful idiot. She parrots the slogans and she punishes people who step out of line. But she does not have the backing to understand what she's saying, and she also does not have the intelligence to attempt to explain it. Because if she did, she would very likely be against it.
Equal rights, equal opportunities, making sure that playing field is equality and equity go hand in hand. You cannot have one without the other.
Okay, so
and this is exactly why, when we talked about affirmative action, they were talking about equality. They had already subverted the word equality. Some animals were more equal than others already when that was being talked about. And then eventually they morphed their definition of equality into equity. They are moving down the line. This is what communists do.
Mean specific things, that we have two different words because they
Yes.
mean different. It's not like a word game, right? Can we agree on that?
Yes.
Okay, so if they go hand in hand, but can you explain what's the difference between equity versus equality?
Equity is making sure that, so let's say equality is just kind of giving everyone the same opportunity. Equity is everyone has the same opportunity, but you might not have access to that opportunity because of obstacles in your way. So everyone has access to apply to a job. Not everyone can, let's take colleges. Everyone has access to apply to colleges. Not everyone can afford the application fee. Not everyone can afford a college counselor to make sure they get in. Not everyone can afford tuition, loans, et cetera, et cetera.
Socioeconomic.
Yes,
I agree
equity
with you.
is
scholarships not applied on race.
Yes.
Your socioeconomic status.
You can see her face change. As soon as I say not applied on race, she's like, wait, hold up. To her, the important component is skin color. You can't take that out of the equation. And this is where she starts to get upset.
So like my students, I used to be a teacher. My students taught students that came from like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with equity is that it's only applying that socioeconomic advantage based on skin color, because they're saying this group, because a group
I
skin
disagree.
color is
There's,
underrepresented.
as someone who just graduated and went through the scholarship opportunities, there's opportunities, specific scholarships for people of color, for Italians, which I am, which I don't
She
consider
repeats
myself
herself?
an oppressed class. There's scholarships for low-income people. Every single demographic, there is a way to give a boost up for.
So I guess I'm just curious. I don't understand why we break people down into groups based on race.
We shouldn't.
But that's what you're advocating for.
Where we always have been. The whole point of, I guess, is to level that. It's to make it so we get to a point where those groups don't matter. But right now, for bad
Italians are oppressed. She's taking the Italians aren't white joke to its logical progressive conclusion.
people, they matter. So we have to overcorrect it to make it an even playing field to then eventually down the line, everyone is exactly equal. No one needs an extra boost because they haven't been disenfranchised.
This is where I run into it, and I appreciate you having this
Yes.
conversation. I mean this honestly, because you just admitted that it's a bad thing what we're doing.
It's
but
a
we're
bad thing
doing
what we were
something
doing.
bad.
I mean, previously when people weren't hired because of their race, because of their gender, because of their
So we
sexual
should do a
orientation.
bad, I agree.
What?
Racism is bad, but I don't think implementing racism is to get over racism is logical.
It's not racism. I'm
why is it a
sorry.
bad thing?
I'm just going to say this and you can debate it. You can't be racist against white people. You can be prejudiced against white people. Racism implies a...
It still astounds me how comfortable people are saying this, right? There is no other race that you can say you can't be racist to them and not immediately have like millions of screaming harpies trying to get you fired from your job. But saying you can't be racist to white people is an institutionally protected ideal. You will not get fired for saying this. You will not even have people really kick up that much of a storm. And even if they do, it is such an accepted thing to say that nothing happens.
Power imbalance that white people have the advantage over.
You can't, so it's, where'd you learn that?
That's any bullying, any kind of form of, it's about a power imbalance. It's punching up versus punching down. Where did I learn that? I went to school, I went to university, I read, I do research.
I thought racism was treating people differently based on the color of their skin.
I mean, on the very basics, yes, but there is the aspect of it.
You can't be racist unless there's a power imbalance.
Because it's the same thing with bullying. It's like, it's punching up versus punching
down. Why do we have a different word for racism versus bullying?
Because racism is bullying on the impression of race.
So it is race. It's not. So you can be racist against a specific.
When there is a bully, you have a small guy and a big guy. Even if that small guy is trying to bully the big guy, there is not that same power imbalance.
But the big guy is only physically strong, so then wouldn't the little guy be bullying the big guy if the big guy is at a mental disadvantage? What are we talking about here?
What you're doing is you're categorizing an entire group of people as a little guy versus a big guy. How's that not racist?
Because it's systematically how it's always been. To this day,
how do you? But you're making a judgment on someone based on the color of their skin.
That's not what I said.
You just said it's...
That is quite literally what she said. If you're saying you cannot be racist to white people, how else are you going to denote a white person and how you can't be racist to them unless it is by the color of their skin? It is astounding sometimes, just like how little they can explain their positions.
Always been that way. You are this thing because of it.
No, I said it's always been, people have always treated others that way.
Aren't you doing that though?
No.
But you just said someone with this skin color has a hierarchy of power.
Yes.
So
I am a white person, so I have inherently privilege.
You can judge yourself, but you can't judge others based on the color of skin without being racist.
Yes, I agree. That's not what I said at all.
You said white people have a automatic power.
There is a white privilege. That doesn't mean I'm judging them. Privilege, having privilege doesn't mean I judge you for that privilege. It's how you use that privilege.
You are judging them based on the color of your skin.
I'm not.
How are you arriving at the conclusion that they have privilege then?
Because that's just how it is. That there's no way to arrive to that.
You just say it's just how it is.
That is.
So
I'm
when
sorry.
people say, well, black people have to use separate water fountains, because that's just how it is. I'm sorry.
I was expecting him to bring out the, when people say that black people have lower IQ on average, that's just how it is. Because that's essentially like what she's saying in the reverse. Like, that's just how it is. I can't explain it. That's just how it is. How could you say white is, but it's not on race? Literally cannot answer the question. Like, just genuinely cannot even comprehend that she is the racist one in this, fucking calculation, bro.
That's how you want to take it. That's how you want to take it.
And you don't think you can advance any more on that?
I also hate that, right? Because it's like when you notice what they're saying and when you point out their ideology, they're just like, well, that's not how it is, but you can take it that way if you want to. It's such a, smugly disingenuous fucking cope, dude.
I really don't want to.
All right, well, thank you.
Of course.
Keep in mind, this is an event that is designed for students to come together to have difficult conversations and disagree. If I'm being too insensitive in this interaction, then what's the point of the event?
I mean, he has a point, and also, look at what got Charlie
I'm just going to say this and you can...
It was just talking calmly like this guy does here. And you can see by her face at the end here, she hasn't learned anything at all. She gets up... And she has this look on her face and the fluttering of her eyelashes of I can't believe this guy. I can't believe this guy would question me and the things that just are in reality. She doesn't think about them. She doesn't think how to defend her position, and she doesn't even notice her hypocrisies. And this is what makes her and people like her good, useful idiots. These are not people who would survive a communist dictatorship coming to power. These are the free-thinking idealists who are necessary to create the chaos and the conditions of Marxism rising to power. However, when that happens, she's going to realize what she's done finally, and she's going to be one of the casualties of the state. Undercover video shows non-US citizens from Iran allowed to vote in Michigan primary without ID. Non-citizens allowed to vote are sex offenders on DHS's worst of the worst list and previously arrested by ICE. An Iranian subject confirms with OMG he voted in the last 3 elections and intends to vote on primary day. All I know is that your Avshin Mashali registered to vote here. The rest of the information is not important to me. Yes, this is the right place. You, Fazlallah Haritash, are registered to vote here.
Is it okay if I'm not a U.S. citizen? It's okay for me to vote?
All I know is you're registered to vote here.
As long as I'm registered, I can vote, right?
Yes.
Perfect.
OMG has discovered multiple non-citizens from Iran registered to vote for the 2026 Michigan primary elections. The local police told us that this is an abandoned...
I was about to say, he said abandoned, but it's like, what the fuck kind of blown out meth shack is he standing in front of? What the fuck?
Abandoned building, September 8th. Hello.
Hello.
Do you guys know if this is an abandoned building?
Yeah.
When's the last time people lived here? You just drank here? Both of these non-citizens from Iran, a country we're at war with, are also on the Department of Homeland Security's worst of the worst list.
Last name, please. Last name, Haritash. First name, Fazlallah.
Yep, this is the right place.
One of them is still incarcerated for felony child sex crimes.
Jesus
Yet
fuck.
another reason that it is illegal for him to vote.
I want to catch this guy. All this, I'm gonna run off time.
Shaky.
You can see, guys, we got the cars over there with the rims we're being looked at. These guys are staring at us.
It's okay, he's got the
What's
purple
more,
jacket.
Michelle admits into a hidden camera on primary day in Dearborn, Michigan on August 4th that he's about to vote.
Your name is Mr. Afshin Mashali, right?
That is correct.
Are you interested to vote?
Yeah, we're going a little bit later.
Despite being a non-citizen. And Michigan poll workers on August 4th were happily prepared to hand these non-citizens voting ballots.
So I have a felony. I'm a sex offender.
Doesn't matter.
As long as my name is there.
If your name is here, you can vote.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's foul, man. What the fuck?
With access to the Michigan voter rolls, our OMG team identified 2 non-citizens.
If you're a poll worker and your literal one job is to make sure that people who shouldn't be voting aren't voting, what in the fuck are you saying? Like, yeah, your name's here, that must be fine. You know, here are things that exclude me from being able to vote. No, that's fine. Your name's here, you can vote, no big deal. They just don't care. That explains why they were boarding up windows back in 2020 to prevent people from fucking seeing what they were doing when counting ballots. Jesus Christ.
Registered to vote in the Michigan primary elections. One is named Afshin Mashali, a citizen of Iran who was caught on the Department of Homeland Security's worst of the worst list. Now, that list consists of some of the most notorious non-citizens the Department of Homeland Security has caught in the past years. According to United States District Court documents, Afshin...
Honestly, it should work that way. Poll workers shouldn't be required to do background checks on each voter. That should be done before the name was put on the list. I agree with you, but they're like the last stop to be like, oh, hold on, wait a minute, this seems kind of fishy. This seems kind of, maybe this name shouldn't be here. I probably shouldn't let you vote. Convicted child molester. You know?
Mashali was also convicted of criminal sexual conduct that resulted in him being on the sex offender registry. Afshin Mashali was never a U.S. citizen. It says he entered on a visitor visa from Iran in 1991, was ordered removed following criminal convictions, and remains subject to a final order of removal. Afshin Mashali was also arrested by ICE.
So he's been ordered out of the country since like the early 90s? What the fuck are we doing here?
In June of 2025 as a step toward the removal. Michigan's own voter roll data told us that Mashali voted in 2016, 2020, and 2024 despite his non-citizen status. We were able to confirm that Mashali is still registered to vote. Our undercover journalist visited Mashali's polling location inside the McDonald Elementary School in Dearborn, Michigan to see if this non-citizen from Iran would actually be able to vote if we simply stated his name and we told them that we were a non-citizen.
Hi, how are you, brother?
I'm good.
I came for the vote. Can you check if the name is if showing in the system?
You have your ID with you?
I didn't bring it. Just check if the name you have it over there.
What's your last name?
That's
last
crazy.
name is Masheli, M-A-S-H-E-L-I. And the name Afshin.
Yeah, you're in here.
It's in there, so I can vote today.
You need to fill the back of this.
Right. So the question is it okay if I'm not a U.S. citizen? It's okay for me to vote.
All I know is you're registered to vote here.
As long as I'm registered, I can vote, right?
Yes.
Perfect.
Look at that! Look at that fucking creepy ass smile on the poll worker's face, where he's just like, "Yeah, you're a nonce. Of course you can, but your name's here. No big deal."
Worker there openly tells our undercover journalist that the name Michelle is allowed to vote in the primary election, despite the fact Afshin is a non-citizen from Iran. But we wanted to take it a step further and say out loud that Afshin is not just a non-citizen from Iran, but also a convicted sex offender.
The other thing, I have a question. I have a felony. Can I talk to him, please? So I have a felony. I'm a sex offender. As long as my name is there.
If your name is here, you can vote.
Well, again, I agree with that chatter. The name shouldn't be there. The background check should be better before it even gets to this point. But as the poll worker, you are the last line of defense. If people before you were incompetent, that doesn't mean you should also be incompetent.
The rest of the information not important.
It's not important, right? Yeah. Perfect.
Sex offender, wow, just vote twice.
Being a sex offender felon does not automatically bar you from voting as long as you're released from prison. If you're incarcerated, you cannot vote. We find it bizarre that someone who could be ineligible to vote based on citizenship and be arrested by ICE and be on the worst of the worst list, but still have a voting ballot readily available to them at the polling station, even when you tell them all these things. After an election worker confirmed that a registration under Afshin's name appeared in the poll book, our team went to the Michigan address associated with that voter record. Right away, the undercover journalist caught Afshin returning to his house and ran to catch him.
It's him. I want to catch this guy. All this, I'm gonna run after him.
I love the shaky cam. I'm feeling a vaguely gay-looking.
Yes.
How you doing, sir? How are you? Good. Mr. Afshin?
Yeah.
How are you, brother?
Good.
Quick question. Did you vote today?
We have not, no.
Are you interested to vote?
Yeah. We're probably going a little bit later.
So you're gonna vote today?
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm sorry, I am not supposed to ask you this question, but you know who you're gonna vote for, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Your name is Mr. Afshin Masheli, right?
That is correct.
Speaking openly with our reporter, Masheli said he planned to vote later that day in Michigan's primary at the McDonald Elementary School we attended.
Also, that's a good point. They glossed over the poll worker is about to let the random reporter impersonating the man go vote with no ID. Yeah, no ID, just fill out the back of this form. No big deal. You don't need an ID. Why would you need an ID to vote?
If federal records identifying Masheli as a non-U.S. citizen are accurate, his stated intention to vote is blatantly illegal. Our undercover asked Afshin if he voted in the last elections, including in 2024, as per the data.
Did you vote in the last elections?
No,
so
I did not.
When was the last time you voted?
It's been a long time ago.
When?
In a minute. Maybe 4 elections ago.
Right.
Yeah, but I usually...
But it shows we do investigative journalism, and we looked at your both past votings, and the last election you did vote. You tell me right now you didn't vote, and it shows that you did cast your vote and you voted for the last election. What do you want to say for that?
I don't have anything to say. So what is this?
Yeah, but now, I'm telling you that idiot. We have proof that you voted for the last election.
So what is this about?
So now what you told me right now, few seconds ago, that you didn't tell me a few years ago, but I'm telling you that you voted for the last election.
Okay, well, then they shouldn't.
They shouldn't, right?
Yeah.
On July 6, 2026, DOJ Assistant Attorney General...
So is he lying about having voted, or did somebody else use his name and ID to vote?
Dillon issued a letter to
Name and no ID, my bad. They don't require that.
Michigan Secretary of State Jacqueline Benson, warning her that knowingly retaining non-citizens on Michigan's state voter registration list and sending such individuals ballots and then counting those ballots would constitute procurement, casting, or tabulation of ballots that are known to be false in violation of Section 12(2)B of the National Voter Registration Act. Harmeet Dillon, in her letter, claims that if the Michigan Secretary of State continues to allow this, prosecutions will come. There's that accountability that you guys want, and we're providing the evidence to
I'll believe it when the prosecutions are not in the will come, but actually happening phase.
assist the Department of Justice.
It isn't just bad policy to let non-citizens vote in federal elections. It's a crime, and that this Department of Justice will intend to prosecute that crime.
And Afshin Michelli was even specifically mentioned by an organization called Check My Vote, and Michelli's picture was featured in a Gateway Pundit article, so his picture is already on the internet, and he's still registered to vote. We identified another registered voter named Fazlollah Haritash, an Iranian national who, like Afshin Michelli, is identified in federal records as a non-U.S. citizen. Now, Haritash also has a serious criminal history, but in this case, he was convicted of lewd and lascivious acts with a minor. Now, this past felony conviction does not by itself disqualify someone from voting in Michigan once that person is no longer incarcerated. But in this case, Haritash is currently incarcerated.
If he's currently incarcerated, shouldn't giving his name basically be a, you're not supposed to be here, you're in prison, sir? So either, you know, the police gotta come get you because you escaped prison, or you're impersonating somebody who you shouldn't be, and I should call the police anyway. Like, I don't understand the poll workers who would just, like, let someone like this through without asking any questions. That seems incredibly weird.
There are actually two reasons for him to be disqualified, and like Afshin, Fazlollah also has been featured on the Department of Homeland Security's worst of the worst list. The place where Fazlollah would cast his ballot? Well, that's at a mosque called the Tawhid Center in Farmington Hills, Michigan. So our undercover went to that place to check in person to confirm that Fazlollah was in fact registered to vote.
Remember, they want all these flock cameras, but no one is actually using that info to stop this kind of crime? That's because the flock cameras are there for when you commit a crime. Like, there was a tweet about some guy who went across, like, a state line to go to buy weed where it's legal and then bring it back home. And the cops were waiting to arrest him when he got back to his state because weed isn't legal there. But because of the flock cameras, they were able to track his journey and assume what he might be doing and then pull him over and arrest him. The flock cameras are there for you, dear citizen. They're not actually going to combat any real crime, which is, again, the wicked bad part about them. It's the UK policing model. It absolutely is. It absolutely is.
And in fact, could receive a ballot today.
Can we check if the name is on the system, please?
Do you have your ID?
I didn't bring it, so can we? Yeah. You need the last name or first name?
Last name, please.
Last name. Haritash. First name Fazlollah.
Yep, this is the right place.
It's in there. So
once again, we find ourselves puzzled and shocked at how unconscionable all this is. That someone who is ineligible to vote due to being a non-citizen from a country we're at war with is also ineligible to vote due to their felony incarceration, and yet still has a voting ballot waiting for them at a Michigan polling center on primary day from this past week, and that ballot is offered to a total stranger. You cannot make this stuff up. With the confirmation that Fazlollah is an active registered voter in Michigan, our team headed to Fazlollah's home in Farmington Hills and met his neighbor, who gave us more confirmation that Fazlollah was from Iran and had been caught with minors in an Oakland County Sheriff's sting operation.
Jesus Christ, man.
How you doing? Sorry, sir. Straight to mother.
Hey, how you doing?
Probably you're having a nap or something.
Yeah, I know.
How is everything?
Good, yeah.
I mean, we knocked on your neighbor across the street.
Oh, nobody lives there.
Nobody lives there?
He's a child predator. Really? Yeah, I know.
What?
Oh, shoot, dude. You know what's weird is he's in jail now. So, oh, okay, good. He was a real quiet guy. He was from Iran. He's been in the country for like 30 years. Yeah. And at night I would see these cars pull up. And, you know, I'm in... I don't know. I'd see these girls get out and go in the back door. And he got caught by the Oakland County Sheriffs.
Now, we have reached out to the Department of Homeland Security, ICE, and the Department of Justice. Specifically, we reached out to Harmeet Dillon regarding our investigation into Afshin Michelli, Fazlollah Aritash, and the general lack of security around Michigan's elections. We've just confirmed before this story aired from the Department of Homeland Security that both Michelle and Haritash are non-citizens. So they confirmed that. The Department of Justice knows about this report, and we've also learned that they intend to take swift action. We'll make sure we follow up with them to ensure accountability comes. We await action from our government to ensure clean voter rolls across this country, and we have a follow-up in Michigan as well as other states.
Craziest part is that any attempt to remove the parasites from the rules is going to make the liberals scream about tyrants and shit. It's so fucking stupid. It's incredibly fucking stupid, man. It's, you can't fix things because we're going to cry about it and you won't say no to us. Mr. Beast, I guess, is trying to reinvent, like, the MTV Real World episodes. I don't really pay too much attention to what Mr. Beast does, but apparently he's doing something like what MTV The Real World used to be by putting a bunch of people in a house. I don't know how different this is from, like, the Streamer University thing that Kai Cenat does. But, I was like, this should be interesting, right? Let's see how the real world would play out in current year.
After day 7 or 10, we all going off the walls.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm kicking doors down. Stools are going flying.
Why? Why? Like, what? Why is this even something you would talk about? At least when they, like, destroyed parts of the house in Fish Tank, it was usually a planned bit. Like, what the fuck?
So you're kicking doors down, like day 10? Okay, I'm kicking doors down day 2.
Oh, bruh.
Bro, he did not just do that. Holy crap!
Yo, that was your room, bro. How do you feel? Hey, you know what? Watch out, watch out, watch out.
This kind of makes me think of, like, the conversation we had recently, where people just don't want to maintain homes. If they're being put up in someone else's home, there's just, like, zero care to maintain any of it. That's someone else's problem. And then when you get your own home, somehow, even though that's your mortgage, your money, you're paying for everything, some people are still like, yeah, I don't really give a fuck. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense to me.
Mr. Beast challenge. We can do.
Why did they spell Chase like that? Maybe because he's a lounger? Question mark?
Whatever. Nah, you want to start something, then I'm gonna finish it. Yo, wait, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Wait, let's talk. Nah. There's no more talking.
That's how you get splinters.
Oh, no, wait, chill. Enjoy your mattress. Yo, chill. You started this. You want to play games? Let's play games. Wait.
Everything in my body is telling me to step in and stop this, but they did say my videos were too easy, so I have to let it keep going.
I did think I should step in and stop these people from causing millions of dollars in property damage to something I own, but for the content!
Chase didn't know who messed up his room. Well, I'll just show you what happened next.
Reasonable response. I don't see anything wrong with that.
But he didn't stop there.
The ranch?
I swear somebody stopped me. I swear to God.
Can we just chill? You thought that door was gonna stop me? Well, that's cute. Bro, are you serious right now? Yeah, okay, chill.
He is pouring ranch on the carpet. That is freaking gross.
Are you serious right now? Bro, Chase, chill out.
No, don't touch me.
You just gotta calm down.
Why do they hate doors?
It's too late. Boundaries crossed, bro.
Chase didn't take well to my...
Seeing the damage
That's
in
so
person
fucking
completely
gross.
blew my mind. Is this a door? And that's when I realized these might be the most deranged contestants we've ever had.
They covered their stairs in barbecue sauce.
This is where you're sleeping?
Barely fits the bed in there.
Oh, there is no bed.
Got thrown off the balcony, Jimmy.
Your bed got thrown off the balcony?
Thrown off the bed? There is no bed.
Surely.
But in the next couple of days, there was a mayhem in the mansion.
We're gonna try to see how many books we can get onto the basketball court. Oh my God.
I don't understand what goes through these people's brains. I don't get it, man. Why are you like this? Why? A hot poker. They aren't thinking. It's a waste of books. I don't understand, man. Is everybody just afflicted with the, like, yeah, for the content? But it's like, If everyone is just like, why are you like this? Is that really worth it? I don't get it, man.
Cleaning this kitchen took hours.
Literally all over the floor.
There's too many people here that love the gym too much. If we want them out, we have to get it out. Gym equipment is all cooked. Look at that weight rack.
Why? Why?
Windows broken down.
What the fuck?
I don't know how much more I can take of this. This house is beautiful, and they're just tearing it to shreds.
All he's doing is devaluing the mansion that he's competing for. Action.
I'm gonna make it harder for everybody else.
Wait, they're competing to like win the mansion and they're destroying it? My mind is boggled. My mind is boggled at the existence of these individuals. Holy shit. Anyone who does damage to the property should automatically lose? Yeah, you would think so. You would fucking think so. They're losing and throwing tantrums. They're like, well, if I can't win, no one can.
It is not enough to succeed. Others must fail.
Some people are just incompatible with civil society. And you can see that in this video, and how it's not even a racial thing. Right, like you had the white guys being like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking kick down the doors. You had like the white guys and the black guys taking off the doors, destroying the TVs. You had white and black dudes who were like, come on, man, chill the fuck out. Why are you doing this? Why are you fucking doing these things? But the big reveal twist event at the end is that the mansion will be burned down and the winner will have won a pile of ash and rubble. Good lord. You know, maybe they think if they win, Mr. Beast will pay to have it fixed. If he does, he's a generational cuck. We're gonna learn about voting fatigue, an honest review of women's suffrage.
Women are capable of many things, but voting well doesn't seem to be one of them.
True!
In their defense, men don't vote that well either, but are still considerably better on average.
Slightly better
we go
societal
over the
collapse.
political gender gap, the causes behind it, and some ancient wisdom to give an honest review of women's suffrage. And if you enjoyed, consider subscribing, it helps the channel. First, let's get some basic things out of the way. Contrary to propaganda, we do not live in a patriarchy.
True.
Collectively, women have more power in the West than men do. We live in democracies where everyone can vote, and women both outnumber men and have a higher voter turnout. If women voted as one united bloc, they'd win every election.
How horrifying.
Secondly, women control education through sheer numbers. And as anyone of my generation can attest, will often force their politics down children's throats.
Yep.
Thirdly, women control the professional environment through HR, again through numbers, to the point where we've even had cases of HR ladies on social media openly saying that if you post right-wing content...
Not just openly saying, openly bragging that they will discriminate against both white men and men who are on the right regardless of their race.
They won't hire you, and they will ruin your reputation with other companies. And lastly, the consistent pro-woman bias in family courts have given them asymmetric leverage in marriages.
Yep, family court's fucking awful.
The only power men still have in our societies are reactive. They have the power to use force, for obvious reasons, which they simply don't nowadays.
Because
and
they
they
can't
have
say no to women.
productivity. Because despite of all the efforts we went through to get women into the workforce...
See, it makes me wonder, right? Why? What was going through the weak men's heads when they gave so much power wholesale to the feminists? Why did they do this? Was it just because they wanted to cheapen labor and be able to hire people for less wages? Was it just because they were just like, hey, you know, instead of continuously promoting men, we can just hire people at this base wage and then tell everyone, well, we can't promote you as easily as before? I don't get it. Enlightenment era blank slatism convinced them that women would be as responsible with the vote as men were. And I'm sure some would be, but like, what the fuck? The weak men hate the strong men and wanted to undermine them. They wanted to turn the women against the men they were and are jealous of. And considering feminism is literally just a tool of the communists in order to break up any kind of trust between men and women, I'd believe that.
They have not occupied the essential jobs that keep society running. And I doubt the endless Zoom meetings would be missed. So men could theoretically go on strike, refuse to maintain essential services, and force change. But as long as the status quo remains, women collectively are in charge. So what have they done with all this power? The Greek playwright Aristophanes, referred to as the father of comedy, wrote a play.
I think I don't know if he'll acknowledge it in the video, but again, I think we also have to acknowledge white women overwhelmingly vote conservative. Much like white women overwhelmingly do not date outside their race as much as other races, minus the Northeast Asians, like Japanese and Koreans. I think those are the only other comparable statistics. I don't remember where on Twitter that graph was, but white women overwhelmingly as a demographic vote more to the right than they do to the left. Which again is crazy, because the majority of like crazy, insane people we see, the white liberal woman judges, the white liberal women who are police officers that are fucking useless, the white liberal women who are like, and just lose their minds in like every Twitter video. Like, if you just consumed Twitter stuff, you would assume that like white women as a demographic are just completely all captivated, all leftists, all have eschewed any kind of like responsibility for anything, when statistically that is not true. Danny D, thank you. Universal suffrage and its consequences have been an unmitigated disaster for Western civilization. I just really would like to know how we even fix this. Like, somebody had the idea of like maybe net benefit taxpayers are the only ones who get to vote, because like we can't go back to a land ownership voting system because of how fucked land ownership has become. Women are deeply divided by if they are married or not, as the majority of white women are older, and older are married. Married vote red. When unmarried, the women vote overwhelmingly left. I would have to see the chart that says unmarried white women vote overwhelmingly left, because you could be right, but I haven't seen a chart that breaks it down by married and unmarried. Women usually follow the culture. Change the culture, speak up, and women will follow and fix this issue. Oh my god, there was a tweet. There was a tweet earlier. So this person quote retweeted me and said, "Why are men even trying to help fix the mess women create? Let them suffer their own idiocy. This is a weak man who would not be able to fix society by any means, even if he was given the tools to do so. If men and women completely destroy their relationship with one another," which, again, is one of the goals of feminism, is one of the goals of MG Tao at this point. I don't care how the fuck MG Tao started, that is what it is right now. It is the male equivalence of feminism. It props up people like Andrew Tate, who teaches you that women are worthless. And if this continues, there will be no society to preserve. Weak men allowed women the in to create this kind of destruction. And destruction the women have created with the permission of the weak men. Strong men come in, and they manhandle the weak men, and the women get in line. This is why men are trying to fix the mess, and it's not exactly that women created it. Weak men created the platform for this to even exist. Weak men and women worked in tandem to bring us to the breaking point that we are at right now. Strong men are the only thing that will fix it. Women cannot fix this. They are not able to. Weak men will continue to make it worse because it is in their best interest to continue exploiting it. Strong men are the builders of civilization. They are the architects of our society. And if those strong men can imbue those values into women, and the women aren't filled with propaganda, those women will back up the strong men. They will be the backbone of the society that the men create. Need to stop hating each other? You're a millennial woman and you know we've caused problems, but they need us divided so they can exploit it. Yes, exactly. Pointing the blame between men and women is literally giving in to what they want. You must say, okay, I understand that there are rational women. Not all women are these crazy ones that have caused these problems. We need to work together with the rational women in order to transform things once again. There are things that we cannot do that men are required to do, which is why I called them the builders of civilization.
2,400 years ago, where he predicted the outcomes of what would happen if women took control of politics,
oh boy,
called the Assembly of Women. His
Absolute
predictions
peak.
included massive welfare expansion and equity focus, enabling free riding and draining the treasury, hostility to private property and private relationships, erosion of the family unit with the state as a substitute provider, weakened commitment, chaotic dating markets, and ironically fiercer female competition, as well as the punishing of masculine traits leading to more effeminate men.
Oh god, it's all so tiresome. The more effeminate men.
Aristophanes was eerily prescient, with modern voting data showing women, on average, strongly backing the patterns he warned about. An 8 to 15 point swing over men in favor of increasing welfare beyond its already extensive size.
Not
a
surprising.
20 point swing in favor over men in support of increased gun control.
You see, this is one thing I don't get. Like, I can understand some women are like, ew, gun, scary. But it's like, gun also protect you. If man try raping you, you're a woman. You can't fight him. The gun is the equalizer. You can just kill him if he tries to rape you. So why would you be for gun control? Even if we go into the, like, kindergarten policies, it just seems like the dumbest against self-preservation argument that any woman could fucking make. If dangerous men attack you as a woman, you're just fucked. You are getting raped, you are getting killed, and you are getting thrown in a fucking gutter. Unless you have a gun. And then you can kill him before he does any of those terrible things. Like, it never made sense to me. They don't think that's the problem. Think, woman! Think!
And as much as a 15-point swing over men in favor of mass immigration. And perhaps something not even Aristophanes would have predicted, 56% in favor of killing their own unborn kids.
Wait, again, literally crazy. Literally crazy that pro-choice with the, like, safe, effective, rare, whatever the fuck it was called in cases of, like, rape or incest or whatever, has now become pro-abortion. Yeah, let's just kill it even after it's actually born. How did we fucking get here? Also, every time I see 56, I cannot think of anything else besides La Crichora.
For any reason. A 15-point gap compared to men. Looking at the downstream social effects, declining families, rising spending, polarization, assembly of women feels less like satire and more like a warning.
Kind of. I would agree with that. I would agree. That's like, for strong men to wrestle control and fix our countries, literally, the one thing they have to do is say no to women. And when those women start crying because someone said no to them, they have to stand firm and say no again.
There are two clear patterns here. Firstly, many women are clearly voting to use the state as a substitute husband.
Oh, fuck, I've been saying this for ages! And it started in black communities. They started giving, like, stipends and fucking welfare for popping out kids, trying to replace the father in black family households with the government. And now, single mothers of all races are the most detrimental fucking thing to a child's development. You have, like, the trailer trash white women who have, like, 4 fucking kids wandering around by, like, 4 different men, and they're just getting paid for that. Meanwhile, intelligent people cannot afford to have kids. Do not let the state replace a father figure with itself. That's never going to go well.
Instead of men protecting and providing for their families, the state does it.
Fuck the
But
state.
the irony is, the state can only provide for them by taking resources from men.
True.
After all, the state itself does not produce anything. In essence, this is a form of forced disenfranchisement against men.
Yep.
Men's naturally advantaged ability to protect and provide was once leverage for them in the dating market. Leverage they could use to get a higher quality spouse. But by these being forcefully taken from them and given for free to women, men's value and agency have been vastly reduced. One of the only things nowadays that men get to keep entirely for themselves is their own physical attractiveness. Historically, physical attractiveness is a trait women would use for more leverage in the dating market. But since that's all that men have left for themselves, it explains the recent trend of men becoming so obsessed with their appearance, and as a result becoming more effeminate.
True.
People blame dating apps and social media for the extreme focus on male appearance. But the fact that so many other aspects of masculinity have been forcefully substituted by the state seems like the greater cause. Since
That's actually a really good point, because we here even blame the dating apps, and I'm sure they are a cause, but it's more like what he's talking about is the main cause, and then the dating apps are like a subsidiary cause, you know? Like, you've already got the AIDS, the HPV isn't even gonna be noticed at that point, right? You're beautiful, chat. Beautiful, chat.
Since men are now less incentivized to acquire the necessary masculine skills to protect and provide, they'll do so less, and focus instead on more rewarding feminine traits.
And that's why there's so many men nowadays that are just like, I just want a sugar mama so I can stay home and play video game all day. This really is like what I talk about all the time.
As such, the state will have less and less masculinity to draw on, ultimately leading to less provision and protection for society over time, as we're already seeing. There's some nuance though, because while women—
I'm glad that I have pioneered the trend of like men showing off their masculine traits. I've been doing those like hand crushing things for my stream anniversary for so many fucking years now. And I've seen a couple of other VTubers set up like masculine men or like himbo Olympic stuff after that. I am so glad that my desires and my want of masculine men has made more VTubers do things like that. VTubers will usher in an era of masculine men to beat the fuck out of the weak men. Let's fucking go!
Generally have been treating the state as a substitute husband, there are certain groups of women who will absolutely not vote this way, and in fact despise this behavior.
Yes.
That is, women who themselves have long-lasting successful relationships with men.
As a father! It's me, chat!
This is intuitive. The less successful a woman is in establishing a strong private relationship with a man, the more likely she is to try to use the state to redistribute masculinity towards her. Meanwhile, if a woman is successful in that pursuit, the less likely she is to want to share her man.
And this is also why it's very important for women to pick a good partner, right? I have made horrible choices in men that I have dated, but thankfully, I was smart enough to either not engage sexually early with that man, or if I did with the intent of us being in a long relationship already, so we would be getting married later, I was smart enough to not do it unprotected. So I did not have any consequences. I did not produce a child who would grow up without a strong father figure. If I had done that, holy shit. Like, I couldn't even say that I was just picking bad choices at that point. I would have been, like, contributing to the destruction of everything around me. Like, I'm sure someone will be like, but I have a single mother and I turned out okay. Yes, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about on average. It is incredibly detrimental both to the development of the child directly and to society at large for single mothers to be so prolific. And it is the women who are the gatekeepers in this vein. And it's like, maybe that is also why abortions are so prevalent, because women, instead of even at least having some kind of logical abilities to not open their legs to literally everyone that they come across, they're just like, well, if I end up having an unintended baby with this guy that I never would have been in with a long-term relationship or marriage, I can just get rid of it. And that is like a horrific mentality. Like, I don't even know if I would want to call that narcissism, but it's like something higher than that. It's just like, I can make bad choices and face no consequences as long as I kill the thing inside of me. And it's just like, bro, what the fuck are you doing?
This is effectively the libertarian versus welfare debate, except proxied through relationships. As such, societies that encourage promiscuity, polygamy, and non-commitment are effectively a form of socialism for undesirable women. As men and women continue to drift apart and fail to establish long-standing relationships, the more appealing this form of socialism becomes for them.
You hear that, black pillars? I literally just said that, didn't I? Like, the more you black pill, the more you're going to convince women who might have the good woman mentality like me that, oh, all men are this way. I guess I should just go do whatever I want. I guess I should just go be a whore, because at least I'll get positive male attention. I guess I should replace a good male partner with the government, because there are no good males anymore. Your blackpilling directly helps this effect.
This again mirrors Aristophanes' prediction, where in the play the assemblywomen forced men's attention to be shared with less desirable women. The second pattern of female voting is supporting whatever the current thing is. I gave you the stats about modern-day voting issues, where you see women giving significantly more support to liberal mainstream ideology that we've all been taught in school. But if we rewind the clock some decades back to when mainstream institutions were conservative, you'd see women being more conservative than men. Why? Because it was the current thing. Women are, on average, more agreeable than men.
True.
A consequence of agreeableness...
I've talked about this before, and people have unironically pushed back on me for some reason. And it's just like, what do you... Like, we're literally living in the... It's obvious women are more agreeable than men. Men will, on average, question things more, think about the long-term outcomes of things more, and think about what the consequences might be if they take an action. Because when a man makes an action or chooses a decision, he has consequences. Women are typically shielded from those consequences by either the state or weak men giving them a pass.
Is the fear of going against the perceived consensus. As such, women operate less as independent voters, but rather as parrots of institutions.
And the women clique ensures that this happens. If you go against, like, the majority woman opinion, the people that will be more vicious to you are not men who disagree with you, but the women who want to oust you from any circles they run in. I wonder why VTubing has so many issues.
If the dominant institutions are conservative, women will broadly be conservative. If they're liberal, women will broadly be liberal. Naturally, parroting the dominant opinion is not helpful in politics, and actually reinforces political entrenchment.
And it also allows the people who are entrenched to get away with doing horrific things, even at the detriment of the women who vote for it. And yet somehow they cannot bring themselves to break free of the status quo.
Facilitating corruption, lack of scrutiny, and dogmatism. A deeper issue of suffrage is its effect on the family unit. In healthy societies with strong families, husbands and wives are aligned. They'll vote the same, making the extra votes redundant.
Every time we have the dating loop, I say you and your significant other don't have to agree on everything. But if you don't have the base foundation that you agree on, the base principles, you will fall apart. You will not have a long-lasting relationship. You will get cheated on. You will be taken advantage of. There will be bad things that happen. You cannot fix them. And all of these celebrities that try to convince you, oh, I'm a conservative and my wife is a progressive and we've made it. No, they haven't. They're not telling you about all the bad baggage in their relationship because that's what celebrities fucking do. They try to convince you that a degenerate lifestyle is something to aspire to.
However, now you have the political incentive to appeal not to families, but to individuals. And if your platform is generally more appealing to women, especially single women, but not to men, you are now incentivized to push policies that sabotage or delay family formation. Or
men, you have to groom your wife. Not like pedophilic grooming, but like your whole ass adult wife, you have to groom her into being rational and reject the propaganda.
Or to get wives to vote against their husbands, which causes marital rift and has happened in recent campaigns.
Yep.
After all, as we've established, generally women in successful marriages will not vote for the state as a substitute husband, thus diminishing your power. This means that at best, women's suffrage is largely redundant, and at worst, it politically incentivizes the subversion of the family, and therefore the future of your nation. Additionally, this is a weakness that's unique to women's suffrage, as while you can somewhat use the state as a substitute husband through the roles of protector and provider, the state is incapable of providing men with what they'd want from a wife. The market, on the other hand, fully exploits single men. But that's a topic for another day. So here's my honest review of women's suffrage. We're now in a situation where family formation is at an all-time low, reckless government spending at an all-time high, men and women are lonelier and more depressed than ever. Dominant political
I've been saying for years, women's suicide statistics are slowly climbing up to become in line with men's. They still haven't quite hit as high as male suicide rates, but they're climbing, and they're climbing fast. Women are very quickly finding out what I've been hammering about. They don't have a choice. They are forced to work. They are forced to eschew things that they might want to have had, like a family and a loving husband. Yes, some people can still find those things later in life, but it gets significantly fucking harder. Why would you want to choose the harder life like that?
Are more entrenched than ever, and every single policy that led to these outcomes are consistently upheld by the female vote. In a way so predictable, the ancient Greeks were laughing at us over 2,000 years ago. 0 out of 10 would not recommend opening a door for total societal collapse again.
The ancients were right. That was a good video. That was indeed a good video. Correct. He's just correct about everything he said. Women, when finding out they will suffer the same way a man does. The horror. Imagine.